Question 8. Do you agree that other town uses, and again we've talked about this slightly, such as A3 cafe and restaurant uses, may be acceptable in the core shopping frontages to encourage more activity in the area? And if so, are there any sort of criteria you'd like to suggest? Again, we've got those typical words that are used in relation to retail, but again, you've raised that, and there are other things we should be looking at as well. I think the option definitely was yes, they should be.
The only thing I should be on, whether it's relevant for this, is got to be careful around opening times. It's a tricky one. So in an area like Church Street, we're hoping we attract some sort of evening economy, but people live right above the street, and hopefully at 9 o'clock everyone goes away and people go to sleep. How do you balance that? You know, is that a good business opportunity to say, come in, you've got a cafe, evening economy, but finishes at 8 o'clock? You know? But I think it's going to be a tension.
I can tell you, both Councillor Graham and I serve on the licensing committee, and it's certainly a factor that is taken very much into account on the licensing side. On the planning side, we do have quite strict rules on it, so
no, but I mean, the A3 would be along the Edgware Road. I mean, you wouldn't want it running up Church Street, because that starts at 6:30 in the morning with the market and so on. It's not enough going on.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd imagine the residents of Portobello Road 40 years ago never anticipated there'd be a nighttime economy on Portobello Road. Or maybe there always was, I don't know. But yeah, the regeneration of that street has changed. You know, I think people think it's positive, but for those who live above those shops have a very different evening experience. Don't they?
I lived there for 30 years. 30 years ago, not 30 years ago. 30 years ago, and I've seen. I mean, even then there was a nighttime type activity, but you lived there, you knew about it, you accepted it. It's a bit like the Heathrow Airport argument. You know, the airport's been there before most people have lived there, and you know they knew about it when they went there. So,
don't people also that live there complain that the environment's very isolated at night and there's no footfall through that area? So encouraging more sort of evening uses might.
I think so. Shaking their heads. No.
But I don't think Church Street itself, which is so densely residential, and has a busy market, has all the shops. I'm not sure that you would want anything down there. I think it's the more dilapidated bit of Edgware Road that would just sort of crying out to have some interesting shops, rather than some of those pubs.
Speaking as a complete layperson, knowing nothing about this from a property point of view, but surely much of the reason why people don't necessarily go to streets of A3 but go to shopping centres is because there are A3 cafes there. If they're pushing prams, they can stop and have a rest and stuff like that. Surely it's got to be a good idea, like I said, talking to the layperson.
Well, they are there, and they close at 8 o'clock, hopefully. But they're busy during the day.
But that's only a daytime activity,
yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is about, sorry, I misread the question, this is about extending it later.
Well, I think in some of these areas that may be what the problem is. It's just a daytime economy, there's no nighttime. Do we want to promote a nighttime economy down there? That's one of the questions, isn't it?
It's on the fringes.
Can we have an early evening economy?
Well, I mean, if you look at somewhere like the Harrow Road, for example, if you take Harrow Road and Edgware Road, which are two like busy arterial roads, I mean, is it a question that in trying to get some draw or attraction, you want to try and promote some form of evening economy? Now, traditionally, that's often seen as restaurants and cafes, pubs and wine bars. I mean, perhaps you're not going to see that down there, but do you want to then bring in something else which brings people in as a destination point?
Such as? Please tell us.
I mean, you've got lots of different uses. You've got the assembly and leisure type of uses, sports uses, or things like that. Do you want to try and encourage that as part of a wider
region? If you be more
regeneration?
specific, because the challenge you've got is leisure activities, only having this type of. You need big premises for them.
Yes, I mean that's the problem. There's not that type of.
No, I mean we're struggling at the moment to think what uses we could bring there to do that. But I think answering, just go back to the other point, nighttime uses or evening uses. We could restrict it to in the Harrow Road, say, for example, 10:30, that's it, finished, or 10 o'clock, finished, which would then avoid the problem that I know Councillor Bush will be telling me about later, about potential police problems trying to deal with these people coming out trying to make lots of noise. So you can deal with it by making them close that bit earlier. and they can still do quite a lot of business. And we've done that in Bayswater, where Gastro Pub has to close effectively by 10 o'clock. And they're still doing good business there. So it is possible to manipulate that to some extent. But if you've got any idea about leisure uses, please share it with us.
If you have a nighttime economy with sort of cafe uses and sort of quite, you know, a mix of nice quality cafes and some restaurants and also pubs, because there's such a vibrancy and so many people around, often, you know, you can find that the impact of a single standalone pub emptying its doors onto an empty street at 11 o'clock and the noise that can create is often less than if you've got lots of people and a nice atmosphere, because people don't shout to each other and they don't fight in the street because there's an environment there and it's a pleasant one and people enjoy themselves. So actually it's a difficult one because it's not always quite as clear as it is.
It's also the case. So
I will take advantage. Specifically referring to the Harrow Road, I mean, three things. One is that there is a sort of nighttime economy anyway. There are shops that stay open either most of the night or all the night, and that actually isn't a helpful thing when they're isolated retail outlets that do that. Second thing is that around the Prince of Wales Junction, part of the point has been to develop something of an evening economy on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday that the market is there. And it's brilliant. It is absolutely delightful. It's displaced a lot of bad activity elsewhere, but that's another story. So there's potential there. And the third thing I want to ask, if somebody did come up with a leisure activity type proposal thing, would the planners consider knocking 3 retail outlets together so that it could be there and get big premises and have a new cinema or a new sport, I don't know what it might be, but who knows? And I mean, is that capacity to imagine capable of being turned into some kind of reality?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm glad I came.
I was only going to say that for a lot of the people who work, obviously, and who live in that neighbourhood, if you only got a daytime economy, they're coming back to a load of closed shops, and what they really want to do is to go out and have a drink and some dinner afterwards, and so having some kind of evening economy is good for that other shift in the population.
Okay.